we're going to start part 3 of merging the Advanced Locomotion System and the Animal Behavior Kit. Just as a recap, here we have the Advanced Locomotion System, which was free for a month on the Unreal Marketplace, free content. And so a lot of you will have this in your library. Perhaps you haven't done anything with it yet, but if you purchase it now, it is $59.99. It's a very good system. I know he is working on version 4, which will be a pretty much total rewrite. So there will not be a simple update process for that. But I will, at that time, go through and make new videos regarding version 4 that we will put on the channel for people to do new integrations. So that'll be a nice thing that we'll be able to do. And then also we have here the Animal Behavior Kit, which is $79.99. He does put it on sales. So if you keep an eye on that, maybe you don't want to pay the full $80. You're welcome to watch for the various summer sales and fall sales and things like that he does. And you'll be able to grab this. But this is a very good system if you're looking to put animals into your world in an open world. So at this point, let's do a look at where we're at. We can hit play here. If you followed the first 2 videos, you'll be at a point where you're running around with a gun. The gun does have the ability, this is prey bait and predator bait. These are things that once we go into the actual map, his demo map, those will have uses for interacting with the animals. But as you can see, he's currently not able to raise his weapon. He's in the ready stance because I wanted to do that for when you're holding a weapon. The animations just go together better. But you can see there's no way, it's just shooting at the ground. So what we will do is we need to go and look in the AnimBP. So there's currently 2 AnimBPs. So let's go to animation. I'm in the filters and then animation blueprint. And you can see here's the ones for ALS, the animation blueprints. And then here are ones for, this is probably the default one. Take a look here really quick. So this is a very generic one. I don't know that it's really being used at the moment. Let's take a look at the second one though. And this one has the logic in it. Let's also open up the ALS mannequin AnimBP. Go to the event graph, and this is the default AnimBP for ALS. So let's take a look at what is being customized. So here we're going to close this one. I'm going to do a quick test. We'll do reference viewer, and you can see that nothing is referring to this. Like there's nothing upstream. And so I'm not really concerned that this is being used. We'll do the exact same thing with this player character anim. We'll do a reference viewer, and you can see that the player character, the default player character for the Animal Behavior Kit, uses this blueprint. So that's the one that we want to use. So I've closed that other one. Now look at the movement here on blueprint update animation. It's doing a cast to a character, figuring out the direction. So that's movement things. Whether or not it can jump, it can crouch, that's fine. It does some things on notify for jump and idles. That's fine. And then aim offsets. So that's something we will probably have to look at because there is that weapon in there. Now let's look at the anim graph. You have your aim offset in here, which doesn't raise it up to the face, but it allows you to swing that weapon around. So that looks like something that we will need to use. Go ahead and close that. And so we'll put that in there. And then let's look in the locomotion. Is there anything in here that is unique? So there is the idle rifle hold. What we can do, I'm assuming I could just swap these out and do it a really quick way. But what we'll do is actually have it to where we'll set a Boolean to true, and then you will have to go in, and if you put in logic to drop the weapon, then you can change that true false. But right now, I don't think there's an option to actually drop the weapon in here, and I don't want to have to put in all that logic for this video. So we'll go ahead and get it to where he's holding the weapon up, and then I'll put in a little bit of a check that for now will be always true, but you could then switch it at that point. So let's go ahead and begin in the anim BP for the player character. So I'm closing this other one. But between these, we're not using that third person one. We're going to have open the player character anim, and then we're going to have open the mannequin anim BP. So in the player character anim, let's go ahead and go into the event graph. Let's look at what we're going to be copying in here. So he's got a reference to time. So he's setting time there. I want to see if he's ever using it. I don't see any use of it. So that we may not have to use. I just want to be safe, and sometimes it doesn't show up the first time. Okay. So I'm not so concerned about that. I'm not so concerned about the speed. These are things for movement that we're not using. So really, we just need, remember the aim offset. Let's look at that again really quick. We have the aim alpha, the aim yaw, and the aim pitch. Well, this is where those things are being set. We have the aim out. Well, the alpha is being pulled from the character, so we'll have to verify that variable. And also the pitch being pulled from the character, and the yaw. So we will, let's go ahead and to start, let's ignore this for a minute, because we'll come back to this, because these variables will be missing, and then we'll check with the ALS system to see if there's an equivalent here, because there already is aim offset and all those things in there. We may not need to use any of this code. So we'll go to the anim graph, and we're just going to copy this aim offset here. So I'm going to Control C that. Then I'm going to go to the mannequin anim BP. And then if you notice, we're under the anim graph, so make sure you're there. Okay. And then I'm just going to paste. So we've got this here. This is an aim offset for when you're not holding a weapon. This is an aim offset for when you are holding a weapon. So what we'll do is we're going to make these. I'm going to copy and paste this main state machine here. I'm going to Control C, Control V this aim offset here, because that's yaw pitch. I'm going to connect this up, because I don't want to have duplicate variables that we don't need. You look, there's no alpha that aim. There's aim offset, but there's not that variable, and he's not sitting here. So we'll just delete this. We'll set it to 1. We'll make it match the other one. Now, you'll be asking, okay, well, we don't have a way to pull this in here. Well, what we need to do is add a blend poses by bool. And so what we can actually do is, I'm going to flip these around because I don't like crossing wires. What we've got here is when it's true, it's going to go to the weapon aim offset. When it's false, it's going to go to this other one. And what we're checking is, and I'll put a little note here for the future, holding weapon, put a question mark there. Right now, it's always going to be true, because in this system, you're always holding a weapon. But if you have a bool, and once you put in a weapon system of whether or not you're holding a weapon, you would then switch this. Not holding a weapon, it's false. It's going to go to the standard aim offset. You are holding a weapon, it's going to go to the weapon offset. And then this will go to this full body. So let's go ahead and hit play here and just see what happens. Okay, so it's not using that yet. So, let me double check one thing. Okay. So for now, we'll keep going past this. Always active. And it is currently in there. So what we'll do now is look at the actual animations in the anim graph. So in the player character anim blueprint, get to the anim graph locomotion, and let's look at these because these are all versions with weapons. With IK, it's not liking that. That's the reason that the legs are staying on the ground. You could disable it in the preview and you'll see he jumps just fine. So let's start working through in the anim BP for the ALS. Let's open up the main state machine and let's go through each of these areas because we have jump, running jump, and a regular jump. So what we'll do is go to the jump and let's look at, this is just a standard jump. And you can see doing a jump here. So let's go ahead and blend. It will look kind of odd a little bit. But what we'll do is do a blend by bool again, because what we want to do is make it so that when you're not holding a weapon, you do all the normal jumps. And when you are holding a weapon, you aren't. So blend bool. We'll blend poses by bool. When you're, once again, this will be, are you holding a weapon or not? And now, one thing that is going to be odd here is if you look, this is doing an additive. So what I will probably do is we'll do a few extra steps here to make it look right. So if you're not holding a weapon, it'll do this, but we're going to make a copy of all this because I don't want it to 100% use this animation because we want it to still kind of blend between them all. We want it to still go and just affect the upper body. We'll do a blend per bone. And if you look here, that's the base pose. The one that doesn't have the weapon, that's the legs down. And then we're going to go over to this player character and BP. We're going to copy this. The player jump from stand. And we're going to paste that. And I can't promise this will look beautiful. And we won't loop it because we don't want it to loop. But that's going to be going down to true. And then we're going to check true all the time. We're going to put the comment there, holding weapon. That way it's easy for you to find. Now in the layered blend per bone, we need to go down and add the bone that we want to blend from. And this is the spine _01 bone. Check that box. We could do, I want to see the difference between a layer blend 3. Let's see if this works. You see does kind of weird things. Let's do a 0. Let's see if I see any difference. So, I'm going to really change this play rate because I just don't like, you see how there's a lot of upper body movement in that. And I just want to see if we can tweak this. So what I will do is I'm going to put this to half play rate. And that doesn't look so bad. Not perfect, but this is a base animation here. So, all right. So now you see when he jumps, he's lifting the weapon up. So we need to start doing that for the other areas. And just as a reminder, I did put that at 0. That's fine. I didn't see a huge difference. We won't have it. It'll just be a straight cutoff from spinal 1. So we now have the fall loop, which is going to be very similar. If you look, so we have the jump. Let's look at this really quick. Looks like an in-place jump. That's fine. You'll probably, if you want to go in and replace animations, do all that stuff, you can do that. But we have the fall loop here as well, which we need to put in so that when you're falling, you're still doing that with the weapon. We could probably loop that one. But let's go through and just copy. You can see all this. I'm going to copy all of this. So if you notice, I'm not highlighting the stuff below. because this will be the one that we're going to use from the other one. But I am copying all of this, even the comment box. I'm going to Control C that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to the fall loop. I am then going to paste that. And I'm going to drag the existing code into the false pose. And then I'm going to make a copy of all this and paste it. And this is going to be what goes into the base pose. I'll put that up top. And we're going to be using that jump from stand, but I'm going to be just checking to loop it. And then we'll connect that to result. So let's go ahead and see now. Let's go jump off of something and see. So let's fall off of something so that we don't have the actual jump animation. Oh, nice. If I can get on here. I need to sprint. Okay. Yeah, so he raises the weapon up when he falls. So that's what we want there. So that's your fall loop. And then we have the landing loop. So let's go ahead and if you look at here at land, you have the same thing. This is where when he hits the ground, we still want the weapon up at that point. So let's go to this main state machine. Let's copy all of this once again. All that top code. We're going to go back one, go to land, and then we're going to paste it. We'll move this output animation to the end and connect the result there. We'll put this to the bottom. And then we need to remove all of this. Make a copy of this land. Undo the loop animation. I want to see. So that needs to be fairly quick. We're not looping it. I want it to be, let's do this as one and let's see if it lines up as far as he's not doing a crazy amount of animation after. All right, let's do one thing a little bit different here. So let's go ahead and go to the player character. And let's grab the idle because when he lands, I don't want him doing animations and moving his shoulders and all that weird stuff. So I'm in the idle of the player character and MVP. I'm going to just copy this. That is a variable we'll have to create. But I'm copying these two things. I'm going to go over here to the land. I'm going to paste it here. And then this is going to be instead of the jump from stand. So we'll put that. We'll have it when he lands, he goes to the idle. We need to create this variable here. So create, let's make sure. Okay, that's a standard variable. No settings here. 0 is the play rate. I don't think he's setting. Let's see if he's setting this anywhere. Okay. So we will go ahead and just create that variable then. Compile it. And all those settings are default. So now let's go ahead and play this and let's see what it looks like when he jumps. Yeah, so when he lands, he puts the gun in front of him. And that'll be what we want. So we've got it to where all the jumping, but now what we need to do is the moving. So we've got here under, this is the ALS mannequin and MVP. I'm in the main state machine. Let's go to locomotion. And in locomotion, we have the not moving states, which are the idles. We go to the not moving state machine, and you can see all these various stances. Well, we want to go to the idle here, which is probably going to be a lot of duplicated things now because we only have one idle for crouch and we have an idle for just standing. Let's go and open up the standing idle. I'm going to copy that. And then we're going to go to the, well, this is going to be left foot, but we'll do it for both. Actually, let's just do it for left foot for now. Let's do it right now for left foot just to test. So I've got here the rifle pose, we do need to do a blend bool. So blend poses by bool. And what we will do is have this be to where if it's true, you're going to that rifle pose. If it's false, you're going to the standard pose. And then we're going to mark it as true. Once again, we'll put that comment there of holding weapon so that you know to go in there and adjust that. And then we need to do on this top part, I am going to make a copy of this idle pose, paste it there, and then I'm going to do a blend per bone. This is the base pose. I'm going to run this rifle version into that. And then I'm going to run the blend per bone to the true pose. So it will then blend the upper body with the lower body of the standard pose. On the blend per bone, we need to click here in branch filters, add, hit the drop down, put spine _01, leave that blend depth to 0 and check that box. So now let's go ahead and just stand here and idle. Let's see, he raised up his weapon. Now when we move, he lowers it because we haven't done that yet. As soon as he's idle, the weapon goes up, and that's this code doing that. So now, now that this is done, that should be good. That is our not moving left foot idle. So now let's do the crouching left foot idle. And here, just go to the crouch under the player character anim blueprint and copy this animation. There's the crouch idle rifle hip. So we're going to paste that in here. So we now have the non-rifle version and the rifle version. And so we need to do first we'll start from the idle, crouching left foot idle pose, a blend per bone again. And then we'll connect up this rifle version to the blend poses 0. We're going to do the same thing we just did of hitting a plus here, the drop down, putting spine _01, checking that box. And then we'll do another one of a blend per bool, blend bool. And then we'll connect the result up there. We will copy this ALS CLF idle pose and paste it, connect it up at the bottom. We're going to check this box with the comment, holding weapon. Okay. So now, when we are crouching, you should also, here we go. So now when we're crouching, we also are holding the weapon correctly. So that should take care of the not moving, because we're currently in a state. If you want to do the exact same thing for neutral, let's say you don't want to have the left foot forward, you can do those things. I'm not using the right foot forward. I've removed that ability, but you could do the exact same thing for those. The exact same process we just did. So now let's do the moving. This is a little bit different, but we'll need to go look at the variations that we have here. So we have a crouch walk and we have a jog. Let's go and start with the jog. I'm going to copy this, all the 3 things here, and then we're going to look here because this is going to be the moving. So this is moving with a weapon. So we have our crouch state. So once we copy the crouch code, that'll go down here. We have here the aiming, which is the equivalent right now of holding a weapon. So whenever you're holding a weapon, it'll actually go up here because that's how we have it set by default. You could change this to be a holding weapon instead of aiming. Once you put that logic in, that is really up to you. But here it's then saying, are you using the right foot forward or the left foot forward? We are using the left foot forward. So really all that's being affected is this. So what I want to do is take this and we're going to move it out. We'll just move all this out a little bit. We'll move these at the same time. But we're only going to do the left foot because that's all that we're affecting at this moment. Okay, so now what we have is we want it to do not a bool, but because it'll only reach here if we're doing that. But we'll do a blend per bone from this ALS LF locomotion. We'll run the jog into the bottom here. And we need to select that, hit that plus. I'll put the spine 01. Check that box. And then run that into the false pose. Here, let's look at speed really quick. I just want to see 1 versus 3. I want to compare these. So if you look at speed, top is 270. The gate value is different. So we don't want to use those other values because these won't be the same as far as the speed of the character moving. So I'm going to leave this speed that is being set here as is, and we'll see how it comes out. So let's go ahead, hit play. Now you can see as you're moving along, it's keeping the weapon there. Now turn in places, it's dropping the weapon. So we'll have to adjust that. But you can see when you're moving around, it's properly holding the weapon up. So now we need to do the crouching. So let's go ahead, and we're in still that same area. We're in the moving state. But here where it's the ALS stance check, you can see where it says crouching down here. You need to select all that and just bring it farther down. Now in the player character and BP, we need to go to this crouch walk. And we will just copy and paste this, all 3 of those. And then we're going to paste them down here near the crouching area. Now, this doesn't do a check for aiming. We can put in, we'll put in a thing to check that just because, just for clarity, because if let's say you do drop a weapon, I don't want you having it to where it's always holding the arm, or if you're not holding a weapon in your code later. So what we'll do here is let's do a blend bool. And what it'll be is this code up here. We're going to move the existing code into false. We'll put the comment there, holding weapon. Right now that's always true. Now if you're holding a weapon, we want to blend this. So we need to make a copy of this existing code here and paste a exact same copy of it above. And then this is where we're going to be doing this blend bone. So layered blend per bone. The base pose is the existing. The blend pose is 0 is that crouch walk. And then this will go into the holding weapon bool. And then that will go up into the crouching pose. Now we need to select that layered blend per bone. You need to hit that plus. Once again, this is doing the blend at the spine. And check that box. So if you are not holding a weapon, if this is ever false, we'll do there. If you are, it's going to go up here. This will do for right foot, left foot. So let's crouch. You can see it is doing that. Okay. So now there are a few things. The 2 stops. You saw we had it kind of lowered the weapon as it stopped. That's this. So we're going to go ahead and fix that really quick. We will do, let's do a not moving version because I don't want it moving the upper body at all once it starts to stop. So let's go ahead and go back to this not moving code. So I clicked under locomotion, not moving state machine. And let's first do the crouching left foot idle. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all this top area here. And then let's go back to locomotion. And let's do crouching left foot stop. Now I'm going to paste that there. And then I'm going to run this ALS CLF stop into false. Make a copy of that. Put it up above. I'm going to put this in the base pose instead and get rid of that idle pose. And then I'm going to run that into the result. All these settings should already be the same. I'm now going to go back to locomotion. I'm going to go to not moving state machine. Now I'm going to do the left foot idle. Same thing. I'm going to copy all this top area. And then I'm going to go to the left foot stop. I'm going to paste it here. Okay. And then I'm going to drag this out, put it to the false pose. I'm going to copy and paste and also replace this idle pose in the base pose. You can see there, we now have those properly swapped. And let's go ahead and do a quick test. Now you see he doesn't lower the weapon when you stop moving. So far all we have are the turn in places, which isn't, let's look here, left foot pivot. Let's just, I want to show you. That's not what pivot is. You can see here when you're doing a quick stop, when you're running and doing a stop, that's that pivot. And so, you know, like when you're running backwards and you stop. So that's not what we're doing. And if you look, make sure, I don't think, no, there you go. So it is, if we didn't want it to do that, you see how it lowers the weapon? We'll fix that. You know, people will ask. And so we've got here your left foot, your left foot, your left foot, and your left foot. This is forward, left, right, back. We can use the same code. And so what I'm going to do is go to locomotion. I'm going to go to the not moving state. We could also do the left foot stop. Yeah, let's just do the left foot stop. So locomotion, left foot stop, because this has a lot of the existing things that we want to use. I'm going to highlight all this top area, copy that. And in locomotion, let's go to pivot state machine. Let's go ahead and just start putting these left foots. Oops. So we're going to put the output pose there. We're going to put the pivot there. Copy this pivot, paste it up here, and replace the base pose. Okay. And because I've done a copy and paste, this is gone. I'm going to copy this one more time. We're going to do that each time. So click back to the pivot state machine. So we just did the left foot forward. Now we're going to do the left foot pivot left. Connect that output pose. Put the left pivot there, make a copy of it, paste it, and put it into the base pose, replace that. Copy all the top stuff, go back to pivot state machine. Now we're going to do right foot, or the left foot pivot. Put the base pose there. This into false. Okay, exact same thing. Copy all that, go back to pivot state. Now we'll do the left foot back. Output pose. The false. And then replace this base pose. So now you can see you have here for all four on the left foot. So that will prevent that from when you're stopping from going through and actually lowering that weapon. It's just for a little bit, but yeah, see, it keeps the weapon up now. So that'll be more useful, you know, that way someone doesn't say that that's not quite right. The other thing is that turning in place. So to address the turning in place and also the crouching, because let's do a quick play here. You can see that it lowers the weapon when you crouch. So we can do a quick fix for that by going to the mannequin NMBP. And then we need to go to notify events. So on the left-hand side here, search for notify events, and you'll be able to double click that. And then you'll see the left foot to crouching left foot and the crouching left foot to left foot. What we want to do here is add a branch. So anim notify LF to CLF. And we want that to only happen when false. So I'm going to put a comment around this. And we'll call it holding weapon, or, are you holding a weapon? Because you'll be able to use that same logic that we've been discussing regarding, having a Boolean somewhere when holding a weapon versus not holding a weapon. If you're not holding a weapon, then it will do this animation. But if you are holding a weapon, we don't want to play this because we don't have a way of doing the blend. What you could do in the future is if you wanted to have a montage that works for this, that's holding a weapon, you could then put that in the true state, and you could create your own animation with a weapon being held. We'll do the exact same thing. I'm going to copy this holding weapon code. I'm going to paste it. Again, I need to move out this idle transition here and put it in between. So from crouching left foot to left foot, and then from false to the idle transition. So now let's go ahead and hit play. And when we crouch, you notice it's not the best movement switching between the cameras, but it doesn't lower the weapon anymore. The other montage that we're going to have to deal with is in regards to the turning in place. So if you look, he lowers his weapon when turning in place. To fix this, let's go to the anim graph. We're going to have to add some code here, but we need to pull from another section. So go to main state machine and then locomotion. And you see here, there's an additive and then there's the turn in place. We can't add a cache here to be able to do the code I want in this section. So we actually have to pull this out of here. Move locomotion over, highlight all of the code in between and do cut. And then we want to bring these two pieces and connect them back up. Now click anim graph to go back out, and then let's paste this right here. Now we're going to be placing some things in between here. So from this full body here and over, I want to click and drag and give it a decent amount of room. And then what I want to do is actually do a cache from this bool. So we'll do a cache and then new save pose. And what we're going to do is just call this turn in place is what we can call it. And then what we want to do is get a copy of this turn in place, but we need to do a layered blend per bone first. Layered bone. And from this base pose, I want to get that cache. Turn in place. And then from in between here, I want to move this turn in place in between that. So let's go and connect those up. And then that goes into the base. And then I want to copy this turn in place cache pose again. And I want that to go into blend. Now we need to go ahead and connect up the blend per bone to the additive land, but we also need to do the settings for this blend. So go ahead and do a plus there, hit the drop down, spine 01, and check that box. Now let's do a play and let's see what happens. It doesn't like that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have broken. Okay. This isn't connected up. We never connected the end. So go ahead and connect additive to full body. And now let's hit play. Okay, you can see he's actually moving his legs. He's doing a turn in place. We're able to fully move around. Jump and crouch. Everything seems to be holding the weapon correctly now. So let's do a test. We want to open up go and do a save all. Go to the very top. Under content, we'll do fix up redirectors. Nothing there. Okay. Now we want to go ahead and open up the level that has all of the ABK, so the animal behavior kit items in it. So I did a filter here by level, and we're going to go to, okay, so it's under the animal behavior kit, and then maps, and then level showcase. So I'm going to open that up, and let's see if it's carried over all of these things that we've done. Let's see if we can run around the map and that everything works. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit play. And you see the character has not loaded. Well, let's see why. First of all, we don't have a game mode loaded in here. Let's go and select the ABK game mode. I don't want this BP player character. I want the mannequin character. The rest should be fine. So let's go and hit play now. Okay, so we've got here. He doesn't run nearly as fast. One thing that we can do for that is let's go ahead and open up the ALS based character. There's a speed setting in here. And to get to this, we need to go to the choose max walk speed. So on the left hand side here, do choose max. You can see max walk speed. And when you are aiming, it goes up here and it doesn't allow you to run. We want to be able to run fast because this is a big map and I don't want to have to take the time. So what I'll do is I'm just going to drag from true here down to this. So it does all the normal things. You could go here and add another section if you wanted to have different speeds based on holding a weapon. Let's hit play. Okay, so much better. Now I'm able to run much faster. Let's just run and make sure that the character or the animals are interacting correctly with the character. And then once we verify that, I think we've gotten pretty close to seeing that this correctly is working. So if you found this tutorial helpful, I think this will be completing it. Make sure that you like and subscribe, that you hit the bell next to this video so you get notifications of when we do other videos or when I do other videos on different topics. Also, make sure that you check out our Discord server. We have a lot of people that are interested in game development that have a same like mind here and are interested in helping other people. So if you're interested in that, click the join Discord server. If you would like to help support future videos, you want to maybe contribute towards other assets, make sure you check out the Patreon, and there's also some perks there for doing that. And we have a great community in Patreon. One of the things that is helpful is you get a little rank, a role inside of the Discord, just to tell other people that you do support the channel. So it looks like all this is working. I thank you all for being patient with this and working your way through. Hopefully you find this helpful. But this pretty much gets your ALS character movement inside of the Advanced Behavioral Kit or Animal Behavior Kit. And it's a very good system. I really encourage you to check out all of Koki's assets. That's the developer of this. He's a really nice guy, gives excellent support. He has a lot of very useful videos. He puts out regular content updates for this, adds additional features, really listens to his community. So if you're interested in any kind of animal AI, really encourage you to check this out. It's a great system. So thank you very much for checking out this video. I will catch you all in the next video, and have a good night.